Most phones wait for you to open an app, find a button, and explain yourself. The Pixel 11 is Google's latest attempt to reverse that relationship. Instead of asking, which app do I use? The idea is to ask, what am I trying to get done? That sounds like a small change in wording. It is not. It moves the phone from being a menu you operate toward being a layer of intelligence that watches for context, suggests the next move, and sometimes handles several steps for you. This is why the timing matters. At Made by Google on August 12th, Google introduced the Pixel 11 family alongside a broader push for Gemini Intelligence. The phones are the visible part of a much larger bet about how Android should work. The easy story would be to list the new camera, the brighter display, or the new Tensor G6 chip. Those details matter. But together, they are supporting characters in the real story. Where should useful intelligence run, and how much of your life should it be allowed to understand? Start with the hardware. Google designs Tensor chips specifically for Pixel workloads. In this generation, the Tensor G6 is presented as the engine underneath the phone's camera processing, voice features, and on-device AI tasks. The practical advantage of custom silicon is not that a chip makes a phone magically intelligent. It is that the company can tune the chip, the operating system, and the model around the same kinds of jobs. Think of it like a small production studio inside the phone. One part captures light, another understands speech, another decides which operation can happen locally without sending every detail away. That last part is crucial. The most useful assistant is also the one that could become the most intrusive. A phone that knows your messages, photos, calendar, location, and habits has enough context to help, and enough context to make people nervous. Google's pitch is proactive help with user control. Gemini Intelligence is designed to automate multi-step tasks across apps, while Google says the rollout is opt-in and expanding in waves across devices. The visual difference is simple. The old phone is a row of locked doors, maps, messages, photos, calendar. The new idea is a hallway where the system can connect the doors when the task crosses them. Imagine a message about dinner. A traditional workflow makes you read it, open maps, check the time, search for the address, and reply. An agentic workflow tries to understand the request, gather the pieces, and present one coherent next step. That does not mean the phone should act without permission. In fact, the more steps it can take, the more important the pause before action becomes. A useful assistant should show its work, ask when the choice matters, and make it easy to stop. This is the tension at the center of Pixel 11. Proactivity feels magical when it saves a tedious minute. The same proactivity feels invasive when it guesses wrong, interrupts at the wrong time, or quietly uses more context than you expected. Google is also tying the phone's camera into that context layer. The camera is no longer only a lens for taking pictures. It becomes a sensor for asking what is in front of you, what might be useful, and what action could follow. But a camera that understands a scene is not the same as a camera that understands you. Good product design still needs boundaries. What is stored, what is processed on the device, what is shared, and what can be deleted. The Pixel 11 announcement also makes the phone feel like the center of a larger constellation. Google introduced a Pixel 11 Pro Fold, Pixel Watch 5, and Pixel Tag. The promise is that intelligence should follow the situation, not trap you inside one screen. Your phone might hold the context. Your watch might deliver the glance. A tag might help locate an object. A future pair of glasses might put the answer in your field of view. The system becomes more useful as more surfaces participate. That is also where the strategy gets harder. Every new surface creates another place where the assistant can help, and another place where permissions, battery, reliability, and privacy have to be right. And the Pixel 11 is not proof that the app model is dead. Apps still provide the specialized tools, data, and permissions. The change is that Google wants Gemini to become the layer that coordinates those tools. The best version of that future feels like a calm coordinator. It remembers the goal, knows which tool is relevant, and gives you a clear handoff. The worst version feels like a confident intern clicking through your life without checking the brief. Hands-on reports describe Pixel 11 as an evolution of the existing hardware language, with more of the differentiation moving into Gemini and the surrounding software experience. That is why this launch is more interesting than a spec sheet comparison. The question is not whether one phone can outperform every other phone. It is whether Google's combination of silicon, software, cameras, and device network can make assistants feel genuinely useful instead of merely present. So the takeaway is straightforward. Pixel 11 matters because it is a test of the AI phone idea in public. Can a phone anticipate without overreaching? Can it use your context without making you feel watched? Can it do more while still keeping you in charge? If Google gets that balance right, the next phone upgrade will be less about a new rectangle in your hand and more about a new relationship with the rectangle you already carry. The hardware is the doorway. The real product is the layer of intelligence behind it, and the rules that decide when that intelligence should speak, act, or wait. If you want the next explanation of how AI is changing everyday devices, subscribe for the next video.